So this is in Illustrator, and I have all of the layers highlighted. It's just on one layer. This image that has the text I just um, clipped out of there, and I can just place it into a new layer. And keep in mind with File and Paste in front and back, or Paste in place, puts it exactly where you picked it up from the previous layer. And if I double-click this down, I can dim this and lock this down, so it makes it a little bit easier to see over the top. The way this was opened up was just going into the Share folder, and right here is the listing all the way over to the side here, so you can see this graphic spacebar, provided you don't have the title, lets you see it up close. So if this is going to be the part used for a reference file, you can just right-click on and open with Illustrator, and it'll pop right open. And so here's the same file, just with an image, a blank image. So that layer's there. Okay, so that's all that's happened on this one here. So other than dimming down and locking the layer, it's just in reverse, so it might make it even a little bit easier. I have the character palette, and I'll just stretch that out here from this one, since it's in black and white. And I just chose a simple font. It's a little bit large, but just to start it from scratch, I'll just click. It'll give me the placeholder text, if you remember from before, and just type in the initial letters before you even do any of the formatting. And there it is. So selection tool, the outside handles, if they're not highlighted, just highlight them under view. And that gives you pretty much the size of this, and it touches based on just about everything. It's a sans serif font. It's close to what they have. It's not the exact font, but it's just a bold Arial black is the font. And again, when you click in here and highlight it, you could probably try and use Helvetica Bold, would be just as sufficient for that. Because you can always, even if you don't have the font as a true type font, you can see the C is a little different in both of these. So it's just a little bit change on either side. And so there you have that. And if you have the paragraph open, it's going to give you the justification center or justified right or left. So it's just a quick exercise on that. So by expanding it with the Shift key, I can kind of get the overall height of this letter. I could use the vertical and horizontal scale right here, but it's just as easy just to grab this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and place it to center, and there's another version, I'll show you that in a second. And this gives you the option, the leading, again, is the space between the lines of type, so you can click in here and it updates it relatively fast right in the screen here. So there it is at 72 points. So it's going to be a little bit larger. So I just kind of place it in here like so. And you can kind of see that the see the font right there. And the lettering, or at least the rest of this, other than the CLE, is a little bit smaller than that piece. So while it's still in the same text box, rather than making two of them and taking the text tool and eliminating the top and then the bottom of this one, it's just as easy to keep it all in the same text box, but there may come a time where you want to do and separate it. So I'll just go ahead and highlight the pieces down below, and first adjust the font size, and that might be just all I need to do. Because I'm trying to look at it justify on the left and the right of the CLE for that part. Okay, and just to show you this, I'll bring up the paragraph one here. Just separate that out for a second, and that gives you a couple of sections. So this justify with the last line or all the lines, it's trying to place it either to the outer edge, so you can see the F, and the two parts for this part are separated, but it's going to still be a centered piece. So we're just going to keep it with that. And again, it's all moving together, but the space between the lines, the leading, is going to be just a little bit larger. So if I select these two lines, the top and the second line, those I can adjust, and it brings everybody else up. Then if I grab all three of these lines, there's a little bit more tighter space, and it brings that up pretty quickly. So again, it's just a short segment, not too far. And if you did the scaling, whether you grab it from the handle to stretch it out to try to get that letter C, that's close. It doesn't have to be. We don't have the exact font, and it's just as easy to, just for the simulation of showing it and keeping it into one text box. And then when you're finished, like this is the bolder font of Arial Black. This is the piece with this section. I'm just trying to keep the character or the flavor of the logo the same. Just taking a rectangular shape, again with the space bar, I can still move it around and kind of visually place it in there, give it that section, give it a different color, object arrange, send to back, and creating it this way. Again, there's ways you remember to punch this through. Again, it can also just be white text to show it that way, just to kind of give it the image. If I select both of these, let me make them off-center so it's more obvious. Then you have the Align tool. A member next to it, it's aligning to selection, key object of the page. So since it's just a selection, you can kind of see it that way, vertical and horizontal. Okay. But in this case, I'm just going to drop it down visually to set that up because it's seeing all of the type. And just group that together. And save this. It's a separate document than the previous illustration. And want to come back to it just to kind of touch up on a couple images for that. So it's just a quick, simple logo. Try to get you to think about the idea of how this is marketed, how the logo looks. Again, I'm not sure how they came up with it, but that's their ultimate design. And the letter F key is hiding everything so that you can present that as well.